please pick Diana Yasuo. It may not happen game 1. You might just have to go for some of the more OP stuff early on. But if we go to game 2 and you guys are already 0-1 in the series, please just ball out. Please give me the Diana Yasuo. I know you guys got it.
Well, what happens if they win game 1? Are they not allowed to play it then?
Well, then continue balling out. Flex on them. I don't care.
Okay.
Just play Diana Yasuo, please.
Okay.
Please,
okay.
man.
So, again, we didn't have a jungle segment during the pre-show, so Raafaa just had to really cram that one in there. Just make sure you guys are playing AP stuff. Again, a PSA from our lovely play-by-play here. Going into this draft, Anyone's Legend did have first selection. They chose first pick. IG chose blue side. So LeBlanc, Yunara, Jarvan is the bans coming on through for AL. In my mind, that means we are just setting up for an Azir. Shanks has been really good about this pick. No, we are going for the Nico instead. I think a great takeaway from Jwei, and I think empowering one of the best players in the league, bar none, Kael.
Very true. And it's open, but they go for the Nico, and this does mean that IG now have their choice of a response for Jwei if they wanted to look for it early on, but there's not many things that feel just as pivotal as the Nico, at least in the support role. But IG are looking at some powerful options. I would be very, very concerned if they just went ahead and locked in the Malphite. There's still things like the Trundle and the Silas available. I think that is something, especially LNG has done a really good job in terms of homework and just making sure, like, hey, if you go for the Malphite, just know that you're going to get punished. And I think IG are taking their time. This Ashe Seraphine bot lane has been popping up more, though, across the LPL. And whether it wins or loses, I'm still a fan of the overall concept.
This means that we're going to be seeing Jwei on Enchanters, which he has very few that we have seen. We've gotten a Renata game from him before. We've seen his Lulu. Seraphine does give him a little bit more range, but I do think he is going to be more reliant on landing that ultimate, which can be pretty tricky. This lane, probably in tandem with IG, is going to be helping them get damage down onto a now post-nerf Nico. We'll see what the response from AL is going to look like. Generally, Seraphine is a good answer into things like Azir and helps them if they're going to be going for a skirmishing jungle like an Mbessa or even a Pantheon, even with a Xin Zhao.
The Azir and the Corki locked in. If you still wanted to go for Malphite, you could at least protect it by banning out some of the answers into it in the next phase, since Anyone's Legend have yet to lock in their jungler of choice. In my mind, it would be Trundle Mundo as the two main options, and you already have a decent amount of magic damage coming out from both Azir and Nico, so you probably don't fear the AP option. But because Rumble is still on the table, he said, you know what? We don't need the Rock Monster. Let's just go ahead and make sure that we got an equalizer that can be laid on top of an Encore engage.
A lot of magic damage here, so I need to see something from the mid jungle of IG that's going to give me a little bit more, oomph behind it. I have been very critical of the Mbessa jungle from Jwei, mostly because I think this champion in that role is very fake. But this is the one time where I think there is a little bit of there's some juice in this lemon that we can squeeze, I think. You have the Ashe to set up, you have a Seraphine to empower it, the Equalizer is going to be good. I think if there's any opportunity for Jwei to play Mbessa, it's probably going to be here in this game. Otherwise, I do see IG being not only a little monotone in their damage type, but in general just lacking a little bit of consistent DPS.
And I like that Anyone's Legend is also in the same ballpark as you, Alk, trying to eliminate options that could be strong AD damage components for IG's overall composition. They banned away Rookie's Yone. They might be looking at either another AD option from Jwei, whether it is that Mbessa jungle or even like a Kiana, if you can lay down the Kiana on top of the Encore or set that up as well. Malphite and Pantheon have been banned away from Tarzan, so no Unstoppable Force primary engage with the Pop Blossom, no early aggression with the Pantheon. Curious to see if Anyone's Legend continue to target Rookie's mid lane pool. Okay, well, it's Talia, so just trying to deny some of that global pressure.
3 mid lane bans this game. And for AL, I'm looking at champions that they would want because they do have the range. They have some setup thanks to the Nico. I actually wouldn't be too averse to a Poppy here versus this team. Can be very difficult for IG to handle. I also think a Mundo versus his Invictus Gaming roster is very, very strong. You just have, yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick Syndra, I can still pick Mundo. I'm still liking the Mundo here. It would be Tarzan's first timing of the champion here, at least in 2026. We're going to pick up the Syndra, which just means more burst, more of that magic damage that we're seeing coming in from Invictus.
Anyone's Legend have to decide who's going to be on tank duty this game. Otherwise, if everyone plays damage and everyone plays a carry, this is a very volatile composition that they'll have for themselves into multiple ways that IG can find picks and just look to blow up these squishy targets. At least with Xin Zhao, if you're able to pop your Crescent Guard before the follow-up comes through, you can block a majority of the range damage, because that is where a majority of it is going to be coming from IG. Now, Anyone's Legend, you do get the counter pick of choice into Rumble. What do you go for here as Flandre?
Sion, Cassante. You could go... The Renekton lanes actually become a little bit easier now, thanks to some rune changes we've been seeing.
Okay, front line.
There's a Sion. I don't like this comp from IG, Rafa. I know I've been hinting at it because I was like really big on the Mundo, but you have very little consistent damage throughout fights. Ashe needs to be really far ahead. We also have Jwei on an Enchanter. The only forms of engage you have are going to be coming from an Enchanter Crystal Arrow or this Syndra stun. And I think that that's kind of problematic as this team. I don't see us ever punching through a Sion who's just going to be farming up and going even versus a Rumble. So I need to see something in the early game that's going to give me some hope here for Invictus. Otherwise, I think AL just have a good bot lane pair that they can play around. You have an Azir and a Xin Zhao. You can kind of just bully this 2v2.
And for anyone that might be wondering, well, Alk, there's also a Wukong. Why can't he just Cyclone and engage there? If the Wukong goes in by himself and the engage doesn't work out, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. And there's multiple ways that Anyone's Legend can reset the fight with Emperor's Divide, push people back that try to follow up on the Wukong engage. There's Crescent Guard that blocks all the damage from afar. You also have Pop Blossom, and so either Kael or the Sion can look for a counter engage and ensure that Wei is on a one-way trip. That's the thing about anytime you have like a Vi. Wukong is a less extreme version of it, but he is diving the backline kind of by himself in this instance. So Wei has to pick his angles correctly, otherwise he is going to be the first one to drop in the side of Invictus Gaming. But we'll see how it all plays out as we hit Summoner's Rift for Game 1 between Anyone's Legend and Invictus Gaming. No Gyos?
Perfect. I think just like us casters had to change and reorient ourselves to the fact that there was less dead time in the game thanks to mini waves and all the changes this season, the fan leaders, the cheerleaders over on the LPL side, they need to get used to that and start getting those Gyos a little sooner.
Fair enough. Oh, we're getting word from Kai, producer Ilya, that fans were waiting for the casters to tell them the Gyos.
A true fan never waits for the casters to tell them what to do. They will. Look, we can get the TSM chance later, okay? Like, them brothers it's gonna happen regardless. You're not giving me the sign, okay? There's no signal for me to go for it. But okay, jungler starting on the same side. Photic actually went for Hawkshot second, so they have vision of Tarzan. Hey man, any way that you can cheat and get information, sure thing. I'll take it.
Oh, what is this? 500
match days. They're number 1. What does match days mean?
That number of days they've been in a match?
Because what that tells me is because we've had a few of our orgs leave, especially like FPX and RNG, this is the last like true legacy org that we have.
interesting. Yeah, even producer Ilya is scratching his head on that one, just trying to figure out what that could possibly mean. But I would understand it, because I think RNG would have been able to, if they count like all iterations of RNG, which include Starhorn Royal Club, and then
well, okay, Starhorn's a little different. Starhorn is definitely a big departure from Royal Never Give Up, so I get why that probably doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still,
anyway.
it probably would have been #1 beforehand. But now, Tarzan showing up on mid-wave. Rookie, didn't you just see this guy go into Fog on the left side? He's got Jwei in his back pocket. They're turning around, but Shanks lunges forward for the first blood. And I guess he's just going to give his life. At least he got the first kill of the game.
Wait a minute. Rookie never dealt damage to Shanks. He didn't get an assist for that. So he just lost that entire wave. Shanks is going to TP back. Same thing with enemy mid. Soboro also roamed for this. So, like, IG, they lose out huge. And this has been a big problem for Invictus. I think their solo lanes have been really problematic. I know we put some negative notes down onto Photic and to Jwei, but I think across the board, Invictus have been very bad about how they delegate and get through the laning phase. I mean, Soboro ruins his game this way by being now down a wave, and the wave is already pushing away from him, and he got nothing for that move.
Yeah, your window to really punish this Scion and get a lead over him is small. Once he invests into a Spectre's Kael, yeah, good luck pushing him out of the lane effectively unless you get some support from either your jungle or someone else on the rest of your team if someone else is roaming up.
And the way competitive is played is based on timers. So when Soboro moved, that was basically his recall. And now he's going to have to TP back to a wave that is pushing away from him, which is really problematic because he knows, okay, we saw Tarzan start topside, and now I'm TPing back to this wave. It's more likely that he won't get dove, but now you're down almost a full level versus this Scion. And he didn't even go for, like, first strike to try to squeeze a little bit more gold out of him. He went Arcane Comet, and he's down 20. That's a huge mistake from Soboro.
Yeah, if you're going for pure lane pressure with this comment, and you're not in lane maximizing that pressure, feels bad, man. Well, we'll see if IG can turn it around or not let this oopsie in the early game be a complete derail to any momentum they're looking for. Jwei and Photic did manage to get a base in and trying to do their best to fight for push using some of this double range power. First dragon has spawned on the map, and I think Jwei is trying to cheat his way. No way. No. Okay. He's just clearing out the control ward, and Tarzan is in the area, so no chance that the first dragon is coming up anytime soon.
Oh, this is really tricky. Okay, so Jwei will get spotted. Great vision from AL, but as soon as he gets this one minion, that's level 6 for Wukong. He's going to soak experience from his bottom lane. No dragging being started, but I think Tarzan is going to be okay with the fact that they're going to get this now. Jwei actually shows on the minion wave, wants to get this bottom side scuttle. This is going to be a fight now, and I mean, Wei's going to have ultimate, so I do think that AL shouldn't be looking to contest. They're going to bring Shanks over. Rookie has no flash still.
I mean, respect to Jwei. Leeches some of the XP just so that he can have the threat of a Cyclone over Tarzan, who is not level 6. And anyone's legend have to respect that pressure, and it allows IG to brute force this first dragon of the game.
I think that's really smart. Also, look at Jwei. Already completed his first half of the quest, so he has the upgraded smite. Level 6 upgraded smite. This is a no-brainer here for Invictus Game. They'll get the dragon to start off the game.
Dude, how does Jwei have so much more CS than Tarzan? Did all that just happen from the first bit of skirmishing we got in the mid lane where both junglers threw themselves at each other's mid laners? I mean, is that why?
Yeah, Tarzan kind of just sat there and didn't really, like, he wrapped back around on the mid gank to try to catch out Rookie, and Jwei got the kill. Also, he got to hit the mid wave camps that his mid laner was not hitting at the same time. So
yeah,
I'm just looking at jungle, like the jungle items, and that kind of gives you the tail right now. And He's going to finish blue buff. He'll do his Gromp. He has Wolves. He has Raptors. All of his bot side camps are up. He has a 2-camp lead right now over Tarzan. And that's really impressive, especially for how many accolades we've given Tarzan throughout the year.
I mean, that first set of kills for at least both sides is what allows Jwei to be able to look for that angle of just leeching XP and then pressure Tarzan off of a first dragon. So, I mean, it's a nice win here for the IG jungler. And like we said before, in the wins that IG do get, it has to be Jwei alongside a couple of the supporting crew to drive forward the game at a rapid pace. But anyone's legend are not any slouches. Flandre gets all in by Soboro's Rumble here. Equalizer and Flame Spitter already maxed out. He even burned out his passive. And Flandre does take about 75% of his HP. And look at this. I mean, Jwei is getting all of the first spawn objectives.
We are playing with priority. Soboro does the all-in. Make sure that Flandre can never move into river. How does that not land? That is some Z-axis BS right there. Because Tarzan was in the river. He doesn't land, the wind becomes lightning, and now he can't even contest for Raptors. Wow, AL are falling behind the ball here. It's a minor objective lead because of the first blood for Shanks, but aside from that, this game is huge for AL, or for IG anyway.
Well, at least Kael has the clone to be able to walk away safely. That's the first cast of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Photic this game. We'll see that if anyone's legend can find a window to punish the fact that he doesn't have it. He still has flash available, so it might be a little too difficult to guarantee the kill. Tarzan is spotted on the top side. Soboro's the first one to collapse. An immediate flash, slowing him down with the harpoon. Jwei can follow up, and Flandre comes in way too late. Now, is he in a position where he's forced to flash as well? He's getting burned down. The Cyclone, will it clip him? No, it doesn't. So Flandre might be able to save a summoner spell. He walks out alive, and he doesn't have to burn anything else.
He loses way too much HP in this trade. Tarzan, I'm looking at his opponent. I mean, you get a Scuttle. This is going to even up more. Maybe even Jwei. I don't know if they're going to go for a dive, but you could look for an invade. I think it's a little tricky since you know Tarzan is respawning, but does he just finish Trinity Force here? That's kind of the next big
It's 10 minutes.
point of concern.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 kills. He was already ahead of the camp curve. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, if you're IG, I think we're fighting now. I think this dragon that comes up in a minute is ours, because
every fight is winning.
Yeah, we have Trinity Force, first item completed for our Wukong. We're going to have Ashen Crystal, Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming up soon. Level 6s for our supports. If AO don't come up with a convincing enough string of plays in the next few moments, I am a little worried for them. They do scale very well relative to their opponents, but I don't think you really want to get into a dragon contest war versus this team. Yeah.
IG have access to all of their ultimates. Soboro will not be at this fight since he just used the equalizer on top side. I'd be very surprised if Soboro used the TP to join. Kael and Hope are trying to whittle down Photic and Jwei, but definitely a little hard to do so against the Seraphine. She can try and give Photic a little bit of extra sustain as well as herself. At least Tarzan is able to squeeze out the gold from these last 4 camps and get us under Sky right before this upcoming fight. It will at least give him a decent chance to combat against it, but it just, in terms of ultimate value, yeah, I'm really favoring IG's chances here.
Smart job from Tarzan. There is a hawk shot from Photic that was thrown into his bottom side jungle, and he actually just went through the lane. As a jungler, more often than not, you should just be walking through your lanes because of the home guard boost. Going through it gives you just more movement speed. You get back on the map just a little bit faster. And so he completely dodges out. IG, for the time being, don't immediately know where Tarzan is. He might show in this river, but they control the Phaelites. The plant right there probably gives him away, but Nico could also be in that area, right? So they don't know where Tarzan is right now. And instead, he's going to cross over to his top side. And I think he is just looking at just trying to finish his jungle, because he is 4 camps behind now. And that means that Jwei is very, very close to finishing his upgraded smite and having that 1400 boost.
Yeah, they get vision of Jwei, and I think Tarzan can just try and use this advantage to get any camps for himself. He's running back over. There's no way that they can steal the objective in time, but maybe they can try and just catch people out on the way out of the Dragon Pit. Scatter the Weak is exhausted. Tarzan, wait, they're coming into the pit. Pop Blossom, this is going to be close. They steal away! You have got to be kidding me. Jwei is forced to flash over the wall, and Hope, a flanking Corki, gets the job done onto a low Wukong. Photic is forced to flash to see if he can get a return kill. Picks up 340 gold for himself, but Tarzan gets the flash out of Jwei, and now Photic is locked in the pit, manages to pick up a double on the Kael. Boy, that was messy.
Wow, just the dragon goes over, no spellbook, Kael grabs the dragon there. I'm also seeing in the buff bar, Jwei had a smite. Jwei's smite is still up and available, and that's 2 charges there. Has the 1000 damage button, isn't able to click it thanks to the CC from anyone's legend. They grab the dragon, they'll trade some kills, and while Tarzan is sad that he does not get himself the scuttle on the top side, I think you're still happy with the overall trade happening here. This is Kael just walking in, gets the damage with the Pop Blossom. It's only onto 1 target, but I love the snap coming on through from AL. Gets him over the wall, and just across the board, IG are not ready for this fight. I wonder if that was maybe Jwei just thinking that he can get away with the fact that they saw Tarzan on the red buff. Maybe expecting that he wouldn't be moving, that they're just going to commit to this play and the lanes don't have to collapse. But AO call their bluff and do punish them for it.
A lot of flashes were exchanged in that play, mostly looking at this bot lane. Both Jwei and Photic now down those summoner spells, so is Hope. So it could be a possible place to return to for either jungler, even mid laners if they want to get involved, but then again, those bot lanes are now in the mid lane, so we'll see if that is where the action is brought to next. We've got Rift Herald spawning here in 25 seconds, Alk. Ultimate's coming back up, but like I said, we have to emphasize that those flash summoner spells being burned down means, especially for IG's case, their bot lane has to be extremely careful when walking into the river and not putting themselves in a position that can get punished.
Yeah, at least for AL, the people who don't have flash, they can just Valkyrie away if you're Hope, right? You've got mobility. Shanks still has his and has the shifting sands if he really needs it. IG, if you get hit by a Pop Blossom, you're kind of just dead.
Oh, they sidestep the Encore, they baited out. Crescent Guard, here comes the re-engage from Kael right onto Jwei's Wukong. One more rocket does it. And the rest of AL are going to pile on in onto Soboro, who TPs into all 5 members. And any semblance of hope that IG may have had from Jwei's early advantage is being chucked away.
Well, AL, great job. You've just won the game, essentially, because you got the dragon. You just won a huge fight in mid that was started with Jwei firing off an Encore. You get the Herald, and that's going to perfectly set you up for this dragon coming up in 2 minutes' time. They'll get 2 plates as a trade, as recompense here for Invictus Gaming, but just throwing everything in the kitchen sink right now for AL. They're winning everywhere across the board, and I did want to note that we didn't see too much of it, but Rookie is down almost a full level on Shanks, and also in for the phase rush, so doesn't have the same combat effectiveness that we would maybe expect from like an Arcane Comet or First Strike Electrocute. This, right down the middle like that. It was cool. Oh, and then another one, 2 straight in a row. I saw the Ashe ultimate, but I didn't know it was also the Encore. That's tough. All right.
Double field goals, baby.
That's why it is so much better if you are a Nautilus, because you can't miss your ultimate. But if you're a Seraphine, things are left up to chance and a little bit of skill there. So
you know, I wasn't nearly as down on the double ranged engages as you were, but if we're missing like that, oh, that's so tough. Oh,
so
man.
Another thing that's funny is that the only reason the Enchanted Crystal Arrow ended up dodging, or one of the Encores, or one of them, is because Jwei's Cyclone knocks up and pushes them outwards. So it pushed Hope out of the button, which kind of sucks. Just a complete conclave of errors. Very sad. So...
Well, how do we proceed, Alk? What is it? 3,000 gold for anyone's legend. And, you know, for other teams, like if this was the Weibo Gaming and Top Esports Series just previously, I think we could reasonably talk about, you know, ways to get in. And IG, I mean, on paper, there's a way to get in. This is anyone's legend. Now, they haven't been the super clean team that we saw at their peak in 2025 and Split 2 when they won their first title, but it's still terrifying.
Oh!
Both flashes used. It does not matter. Photic still goes down, and a wonderful engage from the star support of anyone's legend.
And a Herald spawned mid, and a Partridge in a pear tree at this point. Dragon just goes right over top like sprinkles on a cupcake. This is everything going the way of AL. And IG, this draft was risky.
Big fight. Shanks just flashes over the wall. Tarzan now in. Encore comes through. It misses because Tarzan already dashed to Jwei. The blast cone will save Jwei temporarily, but he still has the audacious charge to chase him down. Soboro now on the wrong side of the tracks. Gets knocked out by the unstoppable onslaught, and Shanks comes in, gets a piece of that pie. Tarzan with another kill to his name, and the gold lead has now ballooned to nearly 7,000.
At 19 minutes, you have a 7,000 gold lead. I mean, it doesn't get much harder for IG at this point, but it's going to feel like it's going to get a lot more difficult from this point on. We're going to take a look at this fight again. This was an okay flank, but they had vision control. Good flash from Soboro saves the play to start, but they're so far behind. They don't have the damage. The only thing that lands is this ultimate onto Kael, but, I mean, where is the damage supposed to come from? Because it was supposed to be Jwei, but he is so far behind. It was supposed to be this bottom lane, but they died right before this play. And we didn't even get to see very much from him. And not to also mention, Rookie is completely invisible in this game. We have not seen Rookie, not just in this series, but here in the LPL for a few games now. That Anivia clip all the way from week 1 was like the last real time I saw Rookie play.
Oh man. Oh, the times that we watched IG in 2025 with a majority, or at least the core of this roster, really the only actually current part of it is Rookie, since that core still had Jwei, not Jwei, Mako obviously on break, and then Kael is on JDG now, and the Shy. Low-key, I don't even know what's happening with the Shy.
Shy's taking a competitive break. He doesn't usually like playing competitive, but if you can play with Rookie, it's something that he's interested in. I just think he's personally maybe a little burned out, and he's not usually a big fan of the game.
Fair enough.
Funnily enough, now that I've had some time to reflect on it, and now that we actually have him in Tier 1 over in the LEC, I actually think that the Baus is very similar to the Shy. So, They like to play their niche. It's sad because the Shy was one of our best tank players last year, especially towards the end of the year. Baus is currently getting forced into playing some of those, you know, he still has some of his niche picks, but he's playing weak side a lot, and that's what the Shy usually is doing.
It hits Shanks.
No damage.
Can anyone follow up? Not really. I mean, the equalizer now comes out, but it, like, what? Okay, just wrap it up, bro. Let's just go on to game 2.
Oh boy, it's tough. It is a tough look for IGAL. It looks like they're going to very easily coast themselves to a Game 1 victory. Lack of damage. We had concerns from the draft, and they are coming to life here, almost nightmarishly for Invictus Gaming. Baron's going to be started up, and guess what? There's a Nazir hitting this objective. So if you thought it was difficult, I mean, Kael is doing a fantastic job alongside Flandre of just completely blanking out this river and making it a no man's land for Invictus.
All right, well, Flandre is going to at least absorb some damage, and the rest of anyone's legend back off the Baron for now, just to see if they need to back up their front line, who was absorbing some damage there. Anyone's legend firmly in the driver's seat, but they do not want to make any tosses of their own and give IG a freebie back into this game. They don't have Dragon spawning for another 2 minutes, but the window is closing to try and force the Baron and look for any summoner spell cooldowns, look for any flashes, or just trying to burn anything valuable off of IG before what is more important to them in that third dragon fight.
All right. So we have a few before this objective starts, and I am expecting that AL will handily win this fight. What I was going to kind of start asking as we trail towards the end of this game. How are you feeling about the current jungle meta in competitive? Because I'm starting to come around that I do think that this current pool of champions is significantly more interesting, and this is probably the healthiest jungle has been in a very long time.
I would feel that way if these junglers would just pick some AP champions. Man.
Okay, I know. Let's pretend that Wukong and Xin Zhao are not the disgusting champions that they are. Everything else is cool. Like, we're getting Kiana, which wasn't very popular before. We still have Pantheon. I mean,
Jace and Malphite are getting
Zed.
almost. Yeah, the Jace and Malphite are getting permabanned because they are legitimately strong, and Malphite does have legitimate counters, and I think there's ways to play around the Jace, but sometimes you just don't want to let him through because the things that you can unlock, especially in the Game 1 drafts, can be so devastating and so crippling, especially against anyone's legend. Now that he's already demonstrated how he can pilot Jace jungle, he's never getting that champion again.
Yeah. So
it's never coming back.
Yeah, I think this is probably the healthiest that it's been. I think partially due to Fearless as well. Like, we're not just seeing Sejuani Maokai every single game. I know Wukong and Xin Zhao are very popular, so is Vi, but you know, that second string is becoming at least more interesting.
Yeah, we see some Mundo as an answer to Malphite, which I actually think is a pretty cool adaptation. It's not my preferred response into it, but you know, I can settle with it. Trundle's been nice, and that's definitely a good answer, not just into Malphite, but into a couple of skirmishers that don't have mobility or a lot of mobility and just kind of have to fist fight you.
So
that was crazy that Blabber locked in Italy over in LCS, because I looked at that, I was like, are you kidding me? But then it was a support kitten build, so I was like, all right, whatever,
it's
man.
Broken.
You know?
Italy has been broken on that. You're never getting nuke spears again. I'm sorry, bro. It's never happening.
Nope.
You gotta get it.
She is just an enchantment. Whoa! Shanks says it's time to end this game. The two-man sweep, it does force a flash.
Oh, Kael!
Here comes the second engage from Kael with the Pop Blossom. Flandre TP's in just as in case they need a backup plan, but Soboro with his own TP, I mean, low-key, anyone's legend just lost 2 members. IG are trying to turn this fight around. It's a 3-man decimating smash, but no one can really get in and follow up on the engage. Hope is dropped below 50% HP, so is Tarzan. It's way too difficult, and they don't want to throw this game any further because low-key, IG have gotten decent shutdown bounties in their pockets, and Photic is trying to keep them in range using the power of the Ashe auto attacks with the slow, but unfortunately it's not enough for IG to pick up any more.
We go through that fight, and Shanks was way too far up. Kael was looking for a very explorative, flash, but Hope is by the entrance to the blue side jungle. He's nowhere near that fight, and Tarzan does enough, but they killed Soboro. They're able to get a little bit more chip damage. This is as good of a fight as it's going to get right now, but IG are only now leaving the base, and AL can very quickly shred this objective. Thanks to them, I mean, there is some dragon damage reduction thanks to AL killing 2 of them already. It's going to take a little bit more time, and it is Soul Point being secured by AL, so under no threat yet. But I just want to look at where everybody for AL is currently situated. Tarzan, Shanks are in the same position. Look at where Hope is. Hope is not hitting in this fight. They killed Jwei. We're not hitting in this fight. We're not hitting in this fight. Hope is walking away. Shanks is dead. Tarzan can only use the Crescent Guard for so long to survive. So AL overreaching a little bit. It's going to slow it down a tiny bit, but I don't think it's going to make a meaningful gap open up for Invictus.
I feel a little disjointed there on the engage, especially if Tarzan already uses his Audacious Charge that early. It's kind of hard for him to get in on the second rotation of plays there for Shanks and Kael, but for the Pandas, and at least the fans at home, you can rejoice that they did not chuck the 7,000 gold advantage that was in their pockets. A little bit of gold did go the way of IG, and when we're looking at item spikes, 2 items are on the majority of carries for IG, but unfortunately for them, AL are starting to hit 3 item spikes, especially if you're already Shanks and Hope.
I'm looking at Tarzan. Tarzan's about to finish the Guardian Angel, and that's going to make a hell of a difference if he can do that, plus get level 16. Next dragon spawns anytime they have priority. I like that Shanks is pushing out on that top wave. It means that a fade towards the Baron pit is always a reality. You see that Invictus Gaming are always going to have to contest, whether it's for the Fey Lights here into the river entrance, or just making sure that their opponents are not doing this Baron, because Azir will rip this apart on 3 items, and that makes this game way more difficult for IG.
And Shanks is close to level 16, so this is going to be a scary Azir to deal with. If IG could somehow stall for a couple more waves and let Rookie hit level 16, you could try and blow up one squishy target, although it's probably only hope at this point because Shanks does have Azonia's Hourglass, so if you waste your ultimate, he can go golden.
Yeah, I mean, it's Zhonya's. He's got the Chain Lace Crushers, so he's gonna get a magic damage shield. He also has the HP from the Rylai's, so this Azir's got some HP to play with, and you are most likely not one-shotting him. Although that's kind of the build that Rookie has gone for. Level 16. He is going to have, I mean, he has the Void Staff. He has the upgraded Tier 3 Sorkpen Boots, going for Rabadon's 3rd here. This honestly has to be the time I see Rookie, because he has been, again, completely invisible on this Syndra champion. And you've known that you're going to be playing against Azir for a large portion of the draft. I need to see something here. Otherwise, he is going to be a problem point for me in the series.
Jwei and Jwei taking a post here. Kael sends a clone and scouts out 2 members there. The Baron has been spotted upon the leash. Jwei is trying to sneak around through the top river entrance, gets spotted by Shanks and Flandre. He's going to mark him, and they're just going to turn off the Baron and try to force the fight here. Teleport is coming in from Soboro. He gets rooted by Kael, flees away. Jwei's back in. Flandre already using the ultimate on Unstoppable Onslaught, getting rooted up. He's losing a lot of HP. Wait a minute. Anyone's Legend are losing out on their main tank. Flandre still has teleport, so if he can just get out and then TP back in, he can use a 2nd health bar effectively. Kael stalls him with the clone. Anyone's Legend are kind of not executing the Baron as well as they should be, especially with this gold lead, and IG are hanging on.
Hey, maybe the Baron changes were more real than I'm giving them credit for. I mean, this objective is really hard to take. It has 20,000 HP right now at 30 minutes. This is ridiculously tough to take. You can see that AL 2 times now tried to pull the Baron, unsuccessful in doing so. Much closer in the first bout. But now they lose out on the teleport from Flandre. He does have his ultimate again thanks to having the Zeke's Convergence, so he can go for another Unstoppable Onslaught, getting some damage down onto IG. This is getting a little bit wary. I think if you're AL, we are just looking to play for this dragon that's spawning in 30 seconds.
Yep. Credit to IG, they were well composed to not burn anything super crucial in that Baron dance. Tarzan. Where's Kael? Oh, he's on a minion. They don't know. The Pop Blossom flash immediately by 2, but Soboro still gets clipped by the Unstoppable Onslaught. Rookie's the next target, and he's the next one to drop. Anyone's Legend are going to look to run down the 3 remaining members of IG. The Blast Cone will take them out to safety for now, but Tarzan way with the wind becomes lightning, and here come the reinforcements to all corral them down to their deaths. An ace goes to Anyone's Legend, and they're on the victory march to end game 1.
It's a 5-for-0 ace. The spam pings on the mid lane wave. Kael finds 3 members of IG, and Wind Becomes Lightning turns game 1 into a victory. AL don't even need the Infernal Soul. They're going to march through the bottom lane inhibitor turret, and they're going to finish this out, which was a very dominant, a very clean game number 1.
Some looks of frustration from the IG members and the player cams. I think they could feel that the game almost slipped away from AL and back into IG's grasp, but One unseen minion on the minion wave from Kael. And that's all they need. And where'd you get that?
This is from China. This is from when Ilya went and did some worlds observing. We got to
that's dope.
Taking some. Yeah, AL gave us some free merch. It's very nice. Yeah, because we so I'll give everybody a little bit of a behind the scenes. When we were at MSI, which I want to thank everybody for getting us to, supporting the content and letting us do those interviews. We got to meet AL staff while they were there. We made some connections, made some friends, and so when we were in China, I got to have a little bit of a, they gave us some stuff. I have a bunch of stuff. Let me see if I can grab it. I have like this Hope little card that has, so these are really cute, not just because they have like little fun pictures, but on most of them, the players drew their animal that they're supposed to be. So you can't really see it all that well.
Turn down the brightness of your key light.
Okay. I'm gonna send myself to the void real quick.
Not like that.
God damn it! You can't see it. It's too reflective. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Good angle. Oh, it's a little cheap.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry. Intrusive thoughts.
I'm so sorry that I Mordekaiser ulted myself there. Vamos a Brazil.
I mean, that's what the teams are trying to do this split. They are trying to go to Brazil for first stand in Sao Paulo.
True.
Brought it back. Well, Anyone's Legend, once they had the game in their grasp, it pretty much seemed like all we had to do was just wait until the end. Yeah. But I think the broader conversation is, dude, how difficult is it to do Baron? Because my goodness, I don't know if it's because obviously I think it's a critique of Anyone's Legend that they were not able to secure that fight around that objective.
Well, it's also really, it takes forever now because of how much HP it has.
Exactly.
It is very difficult.
I mean, props to IG for hanging in there as long as possible. It didn't seem like
I'm not giving them props, bro. They sucked for a large portion of this game.
Damn.
We're not. No.
Okay, well, Baron is very difficult to take in this season, and there was some conversation that I was seeing around some other matches globally where teams were finding big leads, but then were not able to close out the game. And the big criticism was, man, these teams can't do Baron. Why are they just not rushing Baron? I'm like, I feel like Baron is way riskier to just flip when the enemy team is alive and well, even if you have a good gold lead. And the fact that Anyone's Legend had a 7,000 gold lead, nearly a full item advantage on their two main carries, and they still couldn't like effectively do it. I don't know, man. Maybe we have to give a little bit more patience and understanding to the teams who are not wanting to pull the trigger around the Baron if it's that difficult to do.
It's difficult, and I want to thank Raz for pointing this out. I didn't realize this, but in the patch notes, they added back the shredding of resistances from Baron. That was not a case in the last season, so mostly because Otacon was in the game. So they gave it back to it. So it is just naturally a tougher objective to take. The health is increased, and the shredding of resistances does mean that it is now the objective that you go for if you're trying to like kind of flip. So I like it. I think Baron should be a tough objective, but I think it also should give you a really big reward if it's going to be that tough. And minions being empowered is very good. Global golden experience, they changed and tweaked the local experience to be more, so you're supposed to, if you really want to, it gives you like a pretty big lead, something that you might have gotten from an Otacon. I feel like they gave a lot of Otacon strength back to that objective, which I think is okay.
Does Baron buff still or no longer give the... I mean, I don't know when this change happened, but I remember there's a time where Baron buff used to give you additional adaptive force. Does that still happen?
If I'm... Remember, and I'll go check the buff right now. I'm going to assume yes, but it's not very much. Yes, it does give you a large amount. Let's see.
Is it a large amount?
I'm trying to find the buff right now. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Kael, well earned. Very, very, very pog. Okay, so it is 12 to 48 attack damage based on the minutes in the game, maxing out at 40 minutes in the game, and 20 to 80 ability power. So it gives you some. It doesn't give you a ton.
So are we advocating that they should increase the amount just a little bit more?
I think if you have Baron, you probably shouldn't be getting combat stats. I do think that should give you, like, something. It gives you bonus movement speed. It gives you the empowered recall. It obviously increases your minions. So I think generally the buff that it gives you. I think if you have Baron and you try to take a team fight, you're almost always trolling. But usually if you have Baron, you're already ahead. So, I don't know. We got our player of the game, though, Rafa. We don't got to talk about Baron anymore.
Yep. Fair enough. We'll have to have this debate another time. Maybe on the next podcast episode with whoever you have it with. Anyway, Game 1 wrapped up in the books. Anyone's Legend are the victors. We'll see after this break if Anyone's Legend can sweep out IG or if IG can pull out a surprise miracle and force us